Carla, you're on the air with a very
Hey,
psychedelic. Yeah, hey, what's going on?
I'm sorry. Hey, it's SteffiePuff's.
Steffi Puff, how's it going, lady?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going okay. Ooh, I can
that's.
hear myself.
You can. Why is that?
Yeah, that's okay though.
Okay, we got a little echo thing going, but that's the whole thing. We've got psychedelic reverb and echo effects all over the place here. You've called into Young and the Restless, Steffi Puff. So you know what that means. We gotta go over your dream and find what that unconscious compass is pointing towards. I assume that's why you called in, right?
Yeah, I have a dream to talk about. It's a little abstract though. It's actually something a reoccurring dream that I've had my entire life
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that sometimes like seeps into my non-dream state as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, you heard what kind of abstract psychedelic stuff we're into, so let's go for it. You want to tell us all a little bit about this dream, even if it's the meat and potatoes, sorry vegans,
Okay.
of what it's about.
Okay.
It's getting
Okay,
smooth,
so
by
I
the
think
way. They're smoothing it out for
it's
you.
getting smooth.
Yeah, the
Oh,
music's
thank
smoothing.
you. I don't hear myself anymore.
It's like
I only like see multiple selves. I don't hear multiple selves anymore.
yeah, the Sass Boys are like putting down like a kind of like if Steely Dan wasn't high vibe, like a non-high
Oh,
Steely Dan vibe. All
a
right,
non-high Steely Dan
yeah,
vibe? Can we like boost it to a high
like a straight
Steely
edge
Dan
Steely
vibe?
Dan. Like
Okay, cool. I
that
love
Steely
that.
Dan so straight edge you could cut your finger on the edge of that metal, you know?
Wow, just stone cold sober Steely Dan.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
All right, let's do it, Steffi Puff. I'm ready. Wes
Okay.
is ready. He's
Okay.
staring at me.
Okay. All right. This is gonna be a little hard to explain, but basically, it's this very short dream, and it's more of like a feeling and this kind of sense of like, oh gosh, it's okay. Hold on. It's gonna
Yeah.
be difficult to explain. We're gonna try though. So it's more of like this kind of like build up of a feeling that the closest that I can associate it with would be like some sort of like static, and I don't, and there's always like two other subjects present, but I can't. They're not in. I wouldn't say that it's in like human form. Like I wouldn't say that I would be in human form and these other two subjects would be in human form. It's just kind of like these three ever-present energies that have some sort of division, and one is a little more maybe more a little more intense of an energy, and the other one's a little like softer of an energy, and then I'm just there too, and I'm not really sure what my energy's about, but I'm there. and and then this like feeling just kind of like escalates. Like it kind of feels like oh gosh, it feels like uh I don't know. Oh god, this is so hard to explain. Like
You're
I
doing
think
a
this
good
is
job.
why
Keep
I
going.
okay, cool. Okay, cool. Kind of like this it's not a comfortable feeling. Um it's very, it kind of, yeah, I feel like it would be what static looks like visually is what feels like. And it's this dream that I've had since I was very, very little, and I've had it, yeah, my whole life, multiple times a year. And there have been moments in my awake mode, awake zone, where I've felt it, and I haven't really. I don't do this, but I want to like start writing down what those moments are because I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, why is it now? But it doesn't seem like something very special is happening when I feel that. So I don't know. I don't know what you can do with that, but that's just something that I would love to have some sort of sense about, as it's just woven through my entirety so far.
Yeah, I thought we should bring the Sky Cam in here for this one. Yeah, we got the Justin Sky Cam simultaneously with Young and the Restless. SteffiePuff, let me ask you this one question. Around what age was it that you first had the dream again?
Ooh, I have a really poor memory, but I would say...
Rough estimate.
I would say like 7.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right around 7 years old the first time most people think about death. Now, here's the deal. There's, Rudolf Steiner had a lot to say about that, but what I'm going to say to you is this. First of all, thank you. Thank you for sharing your dream. That means a lot to us here. That you're willing to trust us to open up and share in that way. Now, second, the feeling of static to me struck as more of the visual image of static. So it wasn't like an auditory static. Am I correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that is a flickering of frequencies, which means, I bet, imagine if there was a translation within the dream world. That is an experience that you had at a different frequency. So when the ripples and the reverberations of the experience come back into memory, both in the waking life and in your unconscious sleeping life, you can't quite access the same vibrational quality. And therefore it comes in as this kind of static, a radio not quite tuned to the very station of fidelity, which would give you the clue to what you need to understand about that experience in that dream. And then when it comes to you in the waking life, it is a distinct feeling, not in itself exactly with that fidelity, but in itself coming from just slightly off, slightly inaccessible at this point in your life. And who knows, maybe later on you'll get to that frequency. But for now, the slightly off feeling is the distinct feeling that carries with it into both the waking and the dreaming life. So what we have here, and you can see there is an individual kind of division within the characters or quote-unquote entities within this dream, within this vision, within this trance. So I would say, SteffiePuff here, there are elements that are not yet in the fidelity that would allow you to extract the meaning from the narrative or from the situation that is transpiring in that dream. Perhaps you're not ready yet to digest it. Perhaps there is an element of timing in your future, and all that is important now that your higher self and your subconscious knows is that you need to get an injection of that feeling slightly off to let you know there is a different vibrational quality, a different frequency that you once inhabited and that perhaps you will inhabit in the future. That is where I would derive my meaning. The characters involved will begin to take sharper forms as time moves on. But for now, you look at it as, what can you gather from the experience? As if someone's learning to tune into a radio station, but the dial is not yet able to turn all the way there yet. So, SteffiePuff, I really feel like that's an important dream for you, to not only try to deep dive into and interpret, but to hold as a litmus test, as a vehicle of juxtaposition for future experiences. And as you expand your consciousness, as you tune into different frequencies, I wonder if the frequency of the dream will change. Alright, these guys are really loving what they're playing right now. What do you think about that,
I wish I could
Steffi?
hear it. Okay, so are you saying like, so this dream, it could be sort of like, I don't want to say a premonition, but it's sort of like, okay, something that either maybe has yet to happen, or a dream that like I'm supposed to have, something that my subconscious is supposed to reach at a future point that I am trying to access now, or like dipping into a little bit, but it's not coming to full fruition because I'm not ready for it, and I'm not at that point yet.
That's a possibility that you're not ready for it, but all we have to say is, if your imagination takes what I say, again, the dream is for the dreamer. So the dream is for you, and you're the only one that's going to ultimately decipher the meaning. But I throw out there this, you're right on. It's this idea that future, past, it's just that it sends like a test signal out as a ripple in a pond. What you're experiencing in the dream is the ripple, not the stone that was cast, not the stone that hit the water. That event you might be moving towards in your life to recollect or to experience for the first time. Who knows? But you're catching in your dreams the ripple, and that ripple carries a distinct frequency that you might not have accessed in this lifetime yet. You get my drift? So you get to...
Okay, yeah.
It's not the rock hitting the water, it is the ripple that you're experiencing. But as you tune in, you get closer and closer. As your consciousness expands, you get closer and closer to the event of the rock hitting the water. Now, I would say this. Get to know the contours of that dream. The only reason why I told you that, all of that, is because I think you have everything you need to experience right there in that dream, the way that you're interpreting it right now, the way that you experience it, that it houses everything that you need. And as you move forward in life, I think it'll become more clear. Saying that you're maybe not ready for it is just a way of saying your life has to play out through your concept of linear time. And I believe that as things play out, that dream, the contours of the figures, the static turns to a very distinct frequency, and it'll become more and more clear. And all you get now is a weird feeling of something not quite describable, but distinct.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I feel like that's just like, yeah, that's life, right? It's just like a weird feeling right now, and then everything makes sense later, hopefully.
Well, I assure you, the way that it makes sense for you right now will be a portion of how you feel about it in the future, meaning you're already there. You just are moving through linear time through the human experience.
Yeah.
That's why it is a memory and something you're moving towards at the same time as it ripples back to you through linear time. But if one was to look at your life as a whole, that ripple, the motion of that ripple would be through your entire life, all the way back to 7 years old. Now, why 7? This is a concept that a lot of people have thought about. For a lot of people, that's the first time they think about death, because their mind is formed enough to understand the concept of not being able to escape an inevitable death or darkness. And then the repercussions of that open up gateways. Now take that right there, that at 7 years old, you were ready to have this dream. Around 7, yes, we know it's an approximation, but like right around 7, you were finally ready. Who's to say you didn't have that dream before 7, but your cognitive faculties finally allowed you to distinguish the dream, that it became clear enough that the fidelity and the contours made enough of a meaningful impression in a 7-year-old's mind, but that dream had been coming to you as an infant as well, that you had experienced that frequency. Now take that concept, and from 7 till where you are right now, imagine that it has become that much more crisper in your ability to understand it, and then take into account 20 years from now, the development. It was the same dream the whole time, but you changed in the aperture of how you saw it. But the feeling is there. The feeling was always there.
Yeah, and it's like the dream is always there, and the like that channel that I'm tuning into is always. It's kind of like I'm accessing it at different points of time, rather than, you know, in this linear time, rather than like it coming to me. You know, I feel like it's like it's just like ever present, and I'm just like tapping in and out. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. I'm gonna think about this a lot.
Yeah, that's one to chew on. But you know, that's how we do it here. We hand out chewing gum all the time. Sassy beats and a lot of wisdom.
This is my favorite brand of chewing gum. Discount Wisdom. They really just like hones in on the wisdom teeth back there. I just pop it back there and just let it soak. So thank you.
Ooh, I like that wisdom teeth. That's right. We're all growing in our wisdom teeth right now as we watch this show. Well, thank you, SteffiePuff. I hope you stay tuned so that you can tune in when we come back again.
Okay, I will.
You've been a great viewer and friend of the show. Wow, this music is making me very, very emotional. I'm sorry, SteffiePuff. We're gonna miss you, but we'll see you.
It's okay.
We'll see you again one day.
I'll miss you guys too.
Goodbye.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Justin, are you looking at me right now? Yeah, you are. Oh my God, are you crying? Are you crying, Justin?
No, I'm not.
Wes, are you crying?